Tyner.
What's up? All right, we got Take Notes, the team that we played in scrims earlier in the season. Looked like they made some pretty decent changes because this is already a 1-to-1 split. I know that Take Notes is looked at as like one of the lower tier teams, but if they're whipping out splits so far, maybe they can get a 2-1 on these guys and really get people to notice them and make Block 1 that much more competitive, more so than it already is with Sauce Gods and that other team that I can't think of right now.
Cuddly.
Cuddly, that's right. Awelix, Coronadus, and Robin all banned top tier gods. I don't. The Awelix usually isn't banned first, but I'm thinking that TNZ likes to play it, so they're just going to take that out of their hands. And Bologna, a pretty
We
typical ban on their side. They left Bologna, or excuse me, they left Thoth open. They could probably pick that on their side. They even left Osiris if they wanted to guard that too.
Looking at the Ravana band, it's Ravana's definitely been a huge and prominent figure in the league thus far. We've seen him in about like 50% of the games. He's a good solo laner, good sustain for himself. I'm surprised to not see the Susano pick up here.
Oh, of course. How did I miss that? Sasato left open, and they're gonna hover on Ra and lock it in. I'm hoping Romanian doesn't let see this bite them in the butt, and it already did. Unknown player locking in Sasano for himself, and Shock also gonna be locked in. That go-to solo laner, the easy one, the old reliable, doesn't lose to anybody, but doesn't outright win either. But sad to see
With
that Ra pick
Susanoo
up.
in tow.
Go for it.
Yeah, with the Susanoo pickup, that means that he'll most likely win lane with the rotations from Susanoo himself, making Chalk just a free roaming tank.
If Chalk can get ahead, he's difficult to deal with in your face. The heals are super, super good early in the game with the physical. It's the only heal that I'm pretty sure it's the only heal that warriors have that scales directly off of power. So if he built something like Transcendence, he would still be able to be in your face as the heal would be ticking for 50 or 60 every single time. Osiris and Scotty looking like both are going to be locked in inside of Romanian Gods. Those are much stronger picks than a Ra. I would have not blamed them for picking up an Osiris first pick. I guess maybe they were afraid that TNZ was going to grab Ra out of their hands, but I doubt that with gods like Sasano and Osiris on the table. But things turn.
Taking a quick look, it's a split, so they might be nervous. Mistakes have been happening. We've seen this a lot in the first week here. People misban, mistakes are made. People panic as they get deeper and deeper into these games because they take them seriously, which is nice to see.
And we also didn't see the first two games. If in the first two games the Raw was a prominent pickup and a huge effect for the team, assuming the winning team had Raw both games, they could value that and see that as a way to victory. Ho Yi going to be locked on for Beast and locked in. A top hunter, not often banned out, but often picked coming behind Coronadus and Scotty as the most prominent hunter currently in the meta. So far, the drafts are looking very tanky and very ability-based. Ra, Osiris, Scotty, nothing big on the DPS side, but big on the tower push and the sustain side over on the side of TNZ. Ho Yi going to be big for the DPS, but his laning phase is also very good, and he can get some good ability-based plays with the ultimate he has and the Ricochet. Geb going to be bound out. I think they were probably having problems with that shield last game. Either that or just a very good Guardian overall. He might be gaining some popularity, especially with the shield cleansing them from so much more CC that we're seeing.
Once again, no mastery skins. Just reminded.
Beast looks like he corrected that. Hoping that the stream will pop up on the YouTube so that I can open it up.
You probably have to refresh. What kind of comp do you think you're going to see Romanian going for here? It's up there, 16 viewing already.
I know it's 16 viewing. It's not showing up on my laptop. I never refreshed like 16 times. Out of Romanian Gods, Osiris, Scotty, Ra looking like early game is going to be what they're going for. The objective secure by Ra as well as sustain is going to make it easy for them to stay out of the base. And if TNZ messes up and doesn't place a ward and goes back to base, that's a gold free for Romanian as long as they stay on top of that. Unfortunately, I can't see the chat right now. I'm going to see if it's
They're just saying that they like the announcers and that the end is representing.
There we go, live now. That's... 1 second.
Tyner has to see his fans, ladies and gentlemen.
I do. I have a pretty big pride. Ganesh gonna be banned out, turning out to be a much more powerful Guardian than I would have predicted. I didn't think he was too strong. I thought the Ohm was a good ability, but too easy to avoid as it's just a big circle to silence. And after that, even if he has a dash, Ganesh is just a sitting duck without any way to keep himself away from a fight. But looking like Thoth also going to be banned out, valuing the distance and just the damage that Thoth puts out.
Picking up on your Ganesh thing, just the wave clear alone gives him the pressure that is needed for him to be a prominent
I think it's
support.
I think he's very different from the Kepri in that instead of being able to revive his teammates, he's able just to prolong a team fight and hold people still and own people to keep his team from dying as opposed to just reviving them. It's a little bit more cheap with Kepri, and I think if you have the right skill, Ganesh could be a little bit more prominent.
With that slow on his ultimate and just the box effect, if you get people in it, people not wanting to chase after you if they're low health with that box there, it's definitely a huge factor in team fights.
A pretty big god in the PC scene. Fafnir going to get locked in on the side of TNZ. He's actually a first pick on the PC side. I'm glad to see him get a little bit more attention in this game. Maybe he'll gain popularity. I love it when a Fafnir's on my team, and if they're good, he can be a big force to deal with. And Terra going to be locked in on the side of Romanian Pride, another top tier support. They're picked pretty late in the draft, but both teams should be unhappy with their support picks.
The Fafnir, we've seen a lot of good Fafnir play, especially in Megalo versus Team C or W. No, it wasn't Team C. It was Heil with the just a Fafnir hopping over walls and just coming into the team fights and trying to break him up, get his team out of there. I hope we see a similar performance from this Fafnir here.
If a Fafnir can combo everything together correctly, if they can stay in the regular form, jump in, get a stun, and get as much damage out, then go into dragon form, jump further, and keep the stuns on, you can chase all the way down a lane and still not have any problems catching up because the Fafnir's there. Poseidon going to be locked in too, a prominent mid laner right now. I think the mid lane's going to definitely go to Poseidon. His early push is going to be better. His objective control, especially with those whirlpool and as well as his auto attacks, he could burst things down quick. As long as they can utilize the Sasano and Poseidon, I don't see them having any problems with the early game. But late game, they better hope that their Hou gets online. Otherwise, the Sasano and Poseidon dropping off as well as the Shock is going to hurt them.
Definitely. Take a quick look at the comps. I feel like early game that the Whirlpool plus the Susanoo pull will be a prominent factor, perhaps even getting them first blood.
Maybe not first, but at least getting the lane pressure. I don't see Ra and Thor having the lane pressure here, especially with the Thor clear being questionable with the hammer and Sasano and Poseidon having obviously superior clear. If Poseidon starts out Soulstone, he'll have the extra tick of 4 on the minions, and that adds up pretty quick.
Well, we have to keep in the fact that Ra is pretty long range, and he'll be able to walk up to the about halfway through his own wave and clear the back waves and then back off pretty easily.
Yes,
here.
but he can't stand in his own wave, otherwise he gets hit with a whirlpool. And true, if he does get hit the whirlpool, that minion aggro turns to the Poseidon, but all the damage it does to the Poseidon isn't being done to the wave, and he has to make up for that with his abilities or just letting the wave go under his tower. You've got to trade smart in that mid lane if you want Thor and Ra to work against the Sasano and Poseidon. Both of them top picks, and both of them really should have been banned.
I feel like from the way you're talking that the mid lane is definitely going to be a prominent feature in this fight.
Absolutely.
And whoever wins the mid lane, the game will lean in their favor dramatically.
Poseidon and Sasano are gods of I've seen banned in almost every single game that I've casted so far. Both of them on the side of TNC are going to be so powerful, especially with the Fafnir there. And as long as Chalk can just stay annoying, I don't see them having any problems finding opportunities to just output as much damage as they can. Romanian gods just need to focus on playing back and waiting until they're in the late game when Terra and Ra will be able to keep their team alive and sustain and do big bursts of damage between Scotty, Osiris, and Thor with the initiations. If objective control can go the way of Romanian, I can see them winning it, but they need to make sure Poseidon and Sasano on the side of TNZ do not get far enough ahead to be a prominent factor. It's game over if you go 3 levels down.
What do you feel like how the Scotty and Terra do in lane? Terra until level 2 is at first level won't be able to really help with the clear. If she dashes into the wave, she just become a poke factor for the other team.
What's good is that
if she gets her heal,
the Fafnir Hou lane can clear pretty well, but the Rake 1 Ricochet, unless he bounces it off the wall, is it's not the best clearing ability. And the Fafnir still has the hammer, but it's going to be who goes faster and who gets the most poke out. If Scotty and Terra get the lane pressure, they can clear the wave faster between whatever ability Scotty starts with. The dog can also do half of an auto attack too, so you got to keep that in mind with Terra in your face. That Scotty plus another half of a god in lane can clear that lane. Unfortunately, game 1 and 2 were unable to be cast as I was out working. We didn't have any announcers available, but game 3 shaping up to be a good one. This is a 1-1 split. I'm hoping to have a lot to talk about and a good close game to keep everybody entertained.
Taking a quick look at their what kind of things do you expect to build on Scotty? Do you think she's going to build crit or just power?
I don't think crit. Again, with Calder, crit does not work with Calder, so you want to build full power and full penetration, so Calder is as effective as possible. if you build crit Calder, yeah, he hits kind of hard, but you're more worried about Scotty than Calder, and if they don't have to focus on the dog, it makes you that much more vulnerable. Scotty doesn't have a dash. She only has the ice to walk on, which gives her temporary movement speed, which was nerfed not long ago from 4 seconds, I think, to 2 seconds. But if they can focus more on making sure Calder is out of the fight too, it gives her just enough time to get out. I see myself do that plenty of times.
It looks like Mommy Raspa, Raza just a comfort pick for him. In this game 3, he's going for the comfort pick over anything else, really.
Still, yeah, Diamond got on him. I don't think even, like I said, I didn't see the games of the past, so they first picked out Raw, and if Raw is what gave them the victory from before, I could see them valuing that and making sure that the enemy team doesn't take that. Raw is not a hard god to play, but even then, Poseidon is the more prominent pick right now, and I'd give the lane to him as long as he can play it well.
9, I know. Okay.
All right, and once my AI begins to work, I will be able to tell you.
What do you feel about? How do you feel that the Osiris Chalk matchup will go?
As long as Osiris can keep the poke up, and if he goes out of Deathwalker build, he'll be able to sustain just as well as the Chalk, but Chalk should be able to sustain with the passive as well as the heals. I'm hoping Romanian gods can gank him early and get Chalk behind, otherwise it's just going to be a slap fight. Osiris does win the lane, but I don't think it's going to be prominent enough to get kills or have to leave lane long enough putting a Chalk under tower. Looking like on the side of Romanian Pride, Robert Die Racer in the solo lane as Osiris. Romania Power 26 is Thor in the jungle. Acasative? I'm going to call him, yeah, Acasative. I'm just going to call him, I'm going to call him Acasa. Acasative on Scotty in the duo lane, partnered with Kenshin X on Terra. Mamai Rasp, I'm going to call him Mama in the middle lane as Raw, and on the side of TNC, Beast 33 on Poseidon in the mid lane, hoping to win that matchup pretty easy, and Frez Ho Yi already headed to the duo lane with his partner Gabriel the God on Fafnir. OG Frost headed to the solo lane as Jock, and Unknown Player on the Sasano.
And yes, folks, for those of you wondering why game 1 and 2 weren't available, Tyler and I weren't available for game 1. By the time Tyler got on, it was game 3, and they were having a pretty intense game, and they messaged us. They canceled the coverage before, and so we just came in and said, you know what, let's do this. Sorry for the inconvenience.
And I'm always willing to broadcast. It's fun to do, and I get a lot of support for it, so it's a good feeling overall. So far, the lane's just standing back and look like duo lane. They're going to let the pressure go towards Frez and Gabriel the God. They're standing at mid lane while they're standing towards their tower a little bit. Nobody trying to poke out right now. Everybody's still sitting at full health bars and mana bars.
Definitely a hard-fought match from what we can tell here.
Looking like it's going to be close. I'm hoping that one team can take their first blood and just start rolling and see what the other team does to stop it. I'm imagining that's what game 1 and 2 were like, just a big slap fight. Beast 33 and Unknown Player. Why is it lagging so bad? It just froze on my end. There we go.
I know. Beast has told me that he was
just like I predicted.
Already.
Unknown Player and Beast able to clear that wave with ease. They actually no. It's a pretty even split if they could just go back to their own jungles and grab the farm there. Looking like they're going to leave 1 minion to the lane. Nope, Beast probably going to pick that up there. Over in duo lane, Akasa and Kenshin push back, allowing Hoyi on Frez and Beast to have the lane pressure. They're not looking for an invade here, just playing it as safe as possible. I'm imagining that farm was a big problem for both teams.
I can totally agree. Farming is a difficult part of the game, and if it's done wrong, you can put you behind and you don't even realize it.
It's just so big, especially when you're going against people who know what they're doing. 1 small inch could be a mile to a team that's good at using their advantage effectively.
I totally agree there. Osiris poking out Chalky like we predicted here. And here comes the Sasano gank.
Just a little bit of fight. I don't think there's going to be a first blood here, but a decent amount of poke on both characters. Osiris doing a good job of fighting back and realizing that he's not in danger of dying, but he does need to get out after doing as much damage as he can. Good job by Gabriel and good job by Gabriel and Frez to invade their purple buff, and I think they grabbed just the purple as their mid laner, as the mid laner on the side of Romanian, and their jungler were able to grab that. Their own
Romanian Pride definitely taking side heartbeats here, keeping up with that farm in between waves, making sure that they're not missing any sort of farm, that way they can keep up.
It's going to come down to who's farming more efficiently, and right now with only about a 100 gold lead, nothing to really care. Actually, about a 200 gold lead on the side of Take Notes. Nothing big right now, but you don't want to see that slip to something more like 500 to 600 heading into a team fight. When you go back to base, that's when that gold lead starts to separate the two teams. Right now, they don't have to worry about it, but after the first team fight breaks out, they really need to make sure they stay safe and don't start slipping.
I can totally agree with that. Gold difference makes the difference between a tier 3 item and a tier 2 item, and that's huge.
We're in right lane, just again a slap fight like I predicted. Jock and Osiris both having the sustain necessary to stay in lane as long as they need to and get the farm that they want. Hopefully the junglers can start having an impact. Looking like Romania Power coming over the dual lane. Doesn't have the ultimate online, but if he can get a good double tap and a spin to win. A Berserker's Barrage, excuse me. I'm going to call it that because spin to win just got old. Able to keep the pressure.
Poseidon rotating.
Able to keep the pressure on over in duo is Fred and Gabriel. Good job by them to keep the Scotty and the to keep two top tier gods pushed back. If he can.
Poseidon and Susano coming over in right lane. Here's the ult.
Good job and good rotation. Actually, Robert had the ultimate online, but the pull from Unknown Player should be able to be enough to get the kill. And first blood going to Unknown Player on Susano. Hopefully that doesn't start a trend for them. If Susano gets ahead, that's pretty much a game over.
Raw rotating the right lane here.
Looking like the ultimate was expended by Aka, but Prez going to use the ultimate and try and get the slow, but an Aegis used by Aka. Good job by both of them to have the actives and abilities online to keep them alive through the damage they both outputted.
And like I said, the Susano into the Poseidon is just devastating.
Yes. If those two stick together hip to hip, it's going to be a pretty bad time for both the solo lane and the mid lane, as the damage from both of them is going to be too much to overcome most of the time unless you have an Aegis up.
I can totally agree with that. Now rotating the left lane.
Maybe he's looking to get a rotation of his own and make a play and try and get a return kill for his on his side, but I think they spotted it out and went back to base.
We're going in.
Romania Power not gonna ult. They're under tower right now, so it's a little risky. I don't think it's the right call to just try and stick around and get the little minions. Go back into the jungle, grab those oracles, grab mid camps.
And rotating oracles, Terra and Thor here. While Ra clears mid lane by himself.
He's got to be careful here. Susano can go to great lengths to get a kill, and if making the right call and going back to base here. Romania Pride able to get the oracles, just a little bit of gold going to their way. Hopefully they can get more of those opportunities and get more camps and steal a few more buffs and try and creep back into the lead. That first blood, so far they're only 1100 down, but that lead's going to grow.
If they don't do anything soon here, yeah, it'll definitely grow. Definitely put them at disadvantage in team fights and later in the game.
Yeah, take notes just now, checking on the oracles. They should have done that sooner. You gotta be more punctual with camps like that, especially when the vision is now on the Gold Fury on the opposite side. You gotta be careful.
That would that bars them from the early Gold Fury. That would put them even further ahead and get almost cementing their lead there.
Absolutely.
Osiris by himself in solo lane. Shock back at base.
Shock, he went back to base to grab full boots in rank 1 of Mystical Mail. I think Mystical Mail was is his idea here, but he had the teleport to get on back to lane 9. He has not missed any farm. I don't think one minion made it under tower. Good job by him by backing on time. But Robert clearly starting to get at least a gold lead, as I've seen him in more camps than I've seen OG Frost, but OG Frost not behind in levels, so still a slap fight will ensue. At 6 minutes, just
see the rotations on mid.
In mid lane, looking like there's gonna be a pretty big fight. Mama and Kashin in trouble. Kashin looking like he's gonna be taken out with the ultimate from Unknown Player. Another on the mark ultimate. Good job holding and reserving that ultimate until the last second to secure a kill.
Jake Doe's putting a ward in front of the Romanian Pride's tower, so that way they know the rotations, know who's in front of the tower. Just have a good idea what's going on.
Can turn a fight. If you're at a quarter health and a Ra has good aim, you're dead. Taking a little bit of tower poke here. If he can get the
and it misses.
Both ultimates off the mark there. This could have been 2 kills had they just hit the abilities. Romania Power still sticking with it. If he can get a double tap, this could be a kill, but gonna back off and take the loss. Unfortunately for both Robert and Mama, they both missed their abilities. Mama should have waited until the Thor landed, but unfortunately it didn't stun anybody, so both ultimates expended and not online for them right now. I expect Take Notes to take advantage of that soon.
I'm definitely sensing he's kicking himself right there. That ult could have changed the whole fight.
I guarantee you both of them are saying, I guarantee you both of them are kicking themselves. That was 2 kills that they could have had and get themselves right back into being even. A 2-2 game is better than 0-2.
Definitely, I can totally agree with that.
I'm
Looking
glad
over
that
at duo lane, Scotty's by himself.
this is something I expect to see out of more mature teams. Beast getting poked out a little bit in the mid lane, able to use the bees and avoid any more CC that they would have gotten out. Only at half health right now, and more mature teams are going to leave their hunter over in duo lane and trust them to just play smart and ward for themselves. That's what I do, and I like to be alone. I don't like my support to always be there. However, getting a return kill, OG Frost, I think, able to get a kill with the gank from unknown player. Sasano just everywhere on the map right now.
That Susano let through is definitely a huge get.
Massive improvement so far from Take Notes. They were absolutely decimated by my team, and I'm seeing great changes for them. I think they're going to be I'm not sure exactly what conversations and plays they've had, but they're playing really good gods and playing it very smart and safe. They're not going too far, and they're able to get the win and get out and go farm. So far, they're sitting
There's the throw ult. And it misses.
Missing again with that ult. Romania, or Gabriel just able to leap away from the damage. Nothing going to come of it. Wasting the ult. You got to find better opportunities with your team to make a play there. Beast able to just walk right in front of them and none of them do a thing.
So definitely should have been more communications on their team spot there between the mid and the jungle.
I think Take Notes are just playing more reserved, and being that Romanian pride is playing a little reckless, playing reserved is going to come out with you on top because they're missing their things and you're hitting yours. Even if you're not as flashy, you're still getting the kills needed. 3-0 at 8 minutes, you're still winning.
Yeah, totally. 1,000 gold difference here right now.
He had about a 1,300 gold difference. I'd expect Take Notes to start looking at something like a Gold Fury or maybe a Portal Demon as soon as that 10-minute mark hits to try and keep their lead.
Susano onto the Scotty. Scotty Poppy Aegis.
She actually used the ult to try and get
chasing.
Not looking like he's going to stick with it, but Romania Power trying to go in onto Sasano and see if he can't get a return kill. Not going to get it. I think he missed the sun or the teleport came out on the side of Sasano. Take Notes able to grab the oracles in the process there. Two members a little low on health, looking like they're not going to do anything about it. Gabriel the God, however, going to be able to keep vision on them if they want to make a play on it, but three members on the side of Romanian Piety is going to tell him to back off.
A good play there by the Sky to get away, and this is Sanro getting away from the Thor there.
Good play by her to get away. Unfortunately, both her ult and her Aegis are now down. That's 120 seconds where you're a sitting duck. Scotty doesn't have CC immunity in her ult. She only has that stun and the movement speed. If they want to go and get her, they can if they group up and go grab her.
Taking a quick look at wards and see how many Romanians placed. None from the Scotty thus far. Yes. 2 placed by the Thor, 2 placed by the Terra, and 2 placed by the Osiris, meaning that mid lane and possibly dual lane was warded at some time.
I feel like there's going to be a big play on right lane. Romanian Power caught out 4 members of Take Notes over in the right lane, just trying to make their lead expand a little bit. Between Tier 1 and Tier 2, they don't have to be afraid. There's 4 of them. Romania Power just barely able to get out. And Mama actually able to get a return kill on the Beast, but unknown player staying true to his character and getting his 3rd kill of the game so far. Kenshin getting low on health. OG Frost able to clean that one up. Good fight overall by Take Notes. They lost 1 character. Oh, Mama with the good snipe this time, making up for the last one that they missed. Taking unknown player out of the killing spree and getting himself a good chunk of gold in the process. Actually only a 2-3 trade.
Yep.
Or is that only a 2-2 trade?
2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 trade. They were 3-0 before. Good
that
job
raw
by
snipe. Yeah.
Romania Pride able to bring it even. I think that's going to help them out in the gold situation a little bit. Still 1,300 down, but better than losing their 2 characters and not doing anything about it. Romania Power looking like he's going to ult. Scotty might be in trouble here if he hits it here. It's going to be a... excuse me, Fred's going to be in trouble here. He used the beat with the first Romania, able to hit the ult, get the double tap, and get the combination off that Thor is known for. Looking like he's starting to warm up the character here.
I can totally agree with that. What do you think changed between that team fight and there? Thor hitting that ult, and Ra hitting his ult and securing the kill.
I think they're just talking to themselves, calm down, aim your abilities. Nothing has to happen as fast as you think it does in your head. Stop talking fast. Tell me what you're going to do and think about your next move. Try and predict them. I think the biggest thing right now is that they were just taking things too fast in a team fight and whiffing abilities. It doesn't have to happen like that, but unfortunately I wasn't able to see it. Unknown player able to get a kill onto the enemy jungler. It looked like a 3-man grouping was able to catch him out of place.
Yeah. Putting down wards, Thor got pulled in by Susanoo, ward pulled by Poseidon into the ult, and a follow-up by Poseidon again. I mean, by
Good job just
again.
comboing the abilities. But in mid lane, looking like there's going to be a little bit more of a contention. Gabriel the God and the Beast poked out a little bit by the Raw, but unfortunately, nothing happening significant so far. Just a 3-3 man grouping right now.
Susanoo coming up behind.
Unknown players there if they want to make a play. Kenshin now has the dash down if they want to make a play onto that, but not going to go quite in yet. Not thinking it's 100% safe.
And the first tier tower in solo has gone down.
Yes, that's leaving Osiris free to OG Frost to roam around and do whatever he wants. I have the hiccups right now and this sucks. Gripping up his 5 in the mid lane is take notes. Looking like it's going to be a pretty big fight. Hopefully Romanian Pride can turn it towards their end in favor and not get taken out by too many. Grouped up but not fighting. I think they're just trying to make sure their players are able to go back to base and everything's well defended. Scotty hovering around in the left jungle. There's no farm there, so don't waste your time. Go get a side camp or go back to wave.
Terra going in, dashing out. Ra with his ult missing.
The Ra ult is going to be off the mark there, but at a disadvantage they are. Beast able to get a kill onto Mama. Caught out of place after the ultimate, not having any immunity. And onto 2 men. Romania Power 26 able to get the ultimate off.
The Osiris
able to get
the...
Already coming back though is Romanian Pride doing a good job of calming down and winning the fights and putting them towards their favor. Unknown player looking like he's going to fall here to the damage from Romanian Power. Another kill for him. Grouped up as 4 here. I wouldn't be afraid to go and grab that Gold Fury right now. If they decide to fight you, that's a sliver of health on the Poseidon and a Hou-Yi that you can burst out easy. But instead just going into the jungle to grab some side camps and see if they can't farm up a little bit more. Good job by Romanian Pride. Able to get back into this one now, reducing their lead. On the side, take those to 900.
Good play by Romanian Pride to come in there. Communication was definitely prevalent in that team fight, and who they targeted first, how they went in the fight. When the Thor came in, it changed the fight drastically. It's amazing what one player can do to change a game.
Yes. Like I said, I think they were talking to each other and saying, "Hey, calm down. It's all right. We can hit those abilities next time. We're not far behind. Just make sure you aim." Try and scope them out a little bit better and lead them and combo your abilities better. Just talk a little bit more and slow down. And it looked like it's whatever they're doing, it's working out for them, bringing it to from an 0-3 to 6 and 7.
Osiris and Terra being poked back off of the tower by Shock as he revives and comes back to the lane. Unfortunate for them, trying to even up the towers there.
Evening up the tower game would be important to them, but it's only 100 gold per player. Right now the objectives are important, but a Gold Fury will get your team more ahead than a tower right now. But if they can group up and siege a lane, that'd be useful. You just got to do it smart and try and get a couple picks off before you do that.
What do you think went through their mind when they after that team fight? Do you think they were just a little too excited, a little too nervous after the fight, and they just didn't see the opportunity for Gold Fury? And
I think they just wanted to play it safe. I'm sure one of them thought about the Gold Fury, and the rest of them shot it down, saying, "You only have one person there with full health. It's a little risky if somebody does come in and get that steal. Let's just go into the jungle and grab the camps and make sure that they can't grab them on this side to take notes."
And 6 wards placed by Thor now, along with 4 with Terra and 2 by Osiris. Still not many wards on the side of Romanian Pride.
Let me get.
And Thor is going to take this tower.
Good job pushing up with the soul laner to grab that tower. OG Frost a little out of position here. Shouldn't be taking too much damage as he has the Mystical Mail online. But if he doesn't start running now, it might do him bad. The ultimate's going to be successfully coming off. He has a rotation coming from Terra and Ra. From Kenshin and Mama. He might be able to get a couple kills here. Romania Power caught out of position. Going to go down to OG Frost. Mama, however, get a return kill onto unknown player. And OG Frost going to fall as well. 3 members of Romanian Pride right now on the right lane. Gabriel the God going to have to sit back. If they can catch Beast out right here, I see them having the damage to get another kill and able to go to her next. However, Beast able to get the ultimate off onto Mama. The Aegis is going to be good, and the meditation. The heal coming out on him to keep him sustained. Gabriel the God, however, looking like able to leap out to safety. Good job by them to try and bail out their players and get as much damage out. Only a 2-to-1 trade right now. I would see this as an opportunity to go and grab an objective right now. Hou-Yi gonna go and grab those oracles. Or Fred's gonna go grab those oracles to make sure that Romanian Pride doesn't grab them. Good job by him at staying aware.
But as we saw Meditate here, do you still feel like Meditate has a place in the Smite game?
I think it does. Just one Meditate's really all you need on your team just to try and give yourself a bit of a breather after a team fight or give yourself a second win. This the tier 1 tower in mid lane gonna get sieged here. Robert, Kenshin, and Mama all grouped up here.
And that's the tier 1 tower.
Good job. Romanian Pride
Good job
already
by
getting
them.
them. Yes, and right now sitting on a 300 gold lead. Good job.
Tower is definitely a big help for any team behind. Just getting those, winning team fights is a huge difference in the game too.
I think they're starting to gain confidence and play with a little bit more swagger. Romania Pride hopefully going to show that off here if he can land that ult into the mid lane. Actually going to miss it, but he has his team grouped up. Hopefully going to get a good stun off and make a play, but choosing to be safe and play a little bit more reserved. The gold is actually even right now.
I'm loving this game. Definitely back and forth. You thought Romanian Pride was down, but they came back and showed their pride and their colors there. And definitely
big grouping in mid. The ultimate off of the side is going to miss its mark, but Robert still caught out of position. Hopefully, actually not missing for hitting Kenshin, but would have had to hit Robert. Would have been more OG Frost going after Robert. Robert having to expend his ult in order to stay out and stay safe. Romania Power caught out of position, looking like going to go down to unknown player on Sasano. 5 and 3, slipped a little bit through the 10-minute mark, but able to come back and grab a couple more kills.
Take Notes definitely has the tower diving potential with Chalk. Just to go through, have Chalk chase him out of tower, Sasano will come up behind them and just instantly kill them pretty much.
I don't think they realize that they could do Portal Demon right now. I don't see any wards on it, and there's 3 grouped up in the right lane.
So far, what do you think? What do you think changed Romanian Pride's? Changed this game around to the one-sided event we were seeing earlier to what it is now, 8-9, back and forth.
I think they're starting to get their confidence and swagger up right now. That's all. It's a close game, and they're realizing that they're back in it, and they have, they're back in a, they're in a deficit right now, but they had a lead at one point, so they know they're capable. They just have to make sure they combo the abilities off better. The Thor missed the ult there, and had he hit it, I think it would have been more kills on their side. They have to keep slowing themselves down and finding the better plays.
Thor's definitely been a prominent figure in these team fights when he ults in and hits his ult. It changes the game for them.
If he hits the ult, yes, it turns the team fight towards their favor. It's a big ult that you don't usually see coming until the last second unless you hear his ult or you can look up into the air and happen to see him up there.
I know a lot of experienced players like to leave their camera for free roam so they can check up in the air and important team fights or just quick look up.
That's what I do. Romania Power hovering around the left jungle, hopefully going to catch somebody out of place here and see if they can, he can't get a kill. Gabriel the God going to be the target here. Not enough to get much damage out, but expending the leap on that side. Frez doesn't have his clear up right now. Mamai was out of position there for just a second, but grouping up with his team, nice and safe.
Chop rotating here to left lane.
OG Frost coming into left lane. Robert is over in the solo lane right now all by himself. If he can push up and grab a tier 2, that'd be a win on their side already, regardless of if they get a kill in the team fight or not. As long as they don't die and stay safe. Raw ultimate gonna hit 3. OG Frost, Gabriel, and Frez gonna lose a chunk of their health. Still group up and actually now choosing to back out, even with the small advantage that they have.
Definitely a good back out by Romanian Pride there, knowing when to back off.
Yes, they have 2 people on the base right now on the side of Take Notes, so it's a 5-3 advantage right now. If they wanted to go under that tower and try and pick somebody off and siege, they could, but I think they're going to start turning their sights towards the objective.
You think this is a good call here with Hoi Yi fast
with
and
Sasano over in the right jungle and Poseidon in the base? They don't have any true burst to steal it. They're going to try and contend, but if they're smart, they can peel off and start zoning them out, and that's exactly what they're going to do. The Terror Stun is good. Romanian Pride able to secure their Gold Fury. Good job by staying aware of who's on the map and the advantage that they have.
First Gold Fury goes to Romanian Pride at 21 minutes.
Yes, looking
like
like
a late Gold Fury.
Beast might be in the well right now, possibly a DC. I'm thinking a pause might be coming out soon to see if their player's still in the game. He could be waiting for an item though. That Spirit Desolation would be pretty nice to have.
How do you feel about waiting for items? Do you think it's a good idea or a bad idea?
If you're only 20 gold, away, whatever. But if you're a pretty good chunk of gold, just grab potions, head back to lane, and farm up for the item. You don't want to be out of lane for long enough for the enemy team to realize that you're not there and then go for an objective or something. You have to always be aware that you not being there is putting the other team at an advantage or a disadvantage.
And
so
there's the pause and there's the problems.
So right now what's going on is that the same button to pause it also unpauses it. So one person pauses it and then the next person having good intentions and trying to pause it accidentally unpauses it. But Kenshin able to get the final pause through.
Make sure, people, when you play your games, that if you're going to pause, you just say, hey, I'm going to pause.
Yep. So 48,000 gold and 48,600 gold on the side of Romanian Pride and 47,200. Take Notes had the early lead to a tune of about 1,000, but Romanian Pride, through playing safer and not taking risks and finally hitting more ultimates. Mamai missing the first ultimate, and another ultimate I know is off the mark, but 2 ultimates so far have changed the fight in their favor. One of them hitting 3 and one of them hitting 2, or one of them hitting 3 and one of them getting a kill on the unknown. The cleanup by Raw is a good is what's turning the game in their favor. Poseidon still his name is Beast, still having a prominent factor on the game. The Krakens have been very useful, but looking like Mamai having a bigger effect overall in the game, especially in team fights.
He's been hitting those snipes, hitting those heals, and hitting those just wave clears. They just do massive amounts of damage. They're predictable, but a good player that can hit them is gonna just wreck you.
Absolutely. Unfortunately,
what do you think that Take Notes? Oh, sorry. What do you think that Take Notes is? Oh God.
Just say your thing. Go for it.
Okay. What do you think Take Notes is talking about right now that they have this pause?
Well, I think they're definitely talking about if Beast is gone, how they're going to try and make a 4v5 work. Otherwise, if Beast comes back, I'm thinking they're going to try and make sure that Beast and Unknown Player keep grouped up and try to make the team fights turn towards their favor. I'd like to see them try and get a return team fight. They're not down by much in the item advantage, though. The difference between Beast and Mamai right now is to a tune of 3 levels. They still have advantages on other places on the map. Ho Yi, a level on top of the Scotty with a bit of gold too. They have things they can use to their advantage right now to try and push down a lane and see if they can't get gold back into their hand. I'd also like to see them start trying to contend for a Portal Demon and Fire Giant. Their late game is all on Ho Yi as long as they can. For as long as they can, they need to keep Beast and Unknown Player online on those 2 characters and keep their team fight as potent as possible before Romanian Pride are able to siege towers and sustain up.
I don't think they're on pause. You'd have to play without Beast for
unless it's accidental. It may be another pause coming out.
I don't think so. I think that was their 5 minutes. Oh no, Beast is back.
Out. Beast is back in the game. So hopefully, Take Notes had a good chance there to talk a little bit to themselves about how they're going to be able to keep the game in their grasp and not let it slip to Romania Pride, who's doing a good job of taking everything and slowly turning things toward their advantage. But I think they too were talking about how they're going to have their advantage and be mature and use it to the biggest degree that they can. They took 1 gold fury. Now let's go get Fire Giant. Let's get a Portal Demon. Let's make them start realizing they're on their heels and start playing a little bit with a little bit more swagger.
And looking at the Osiris build, do you think he's going to go into Shogun's Taurus Tower here?
I think it will. It's an interesting build. Executioner isn't very often fought on a warrior, but I don't really mind it. He does have the mystical mail, so he's barely tanky, and he can be up in people's face.
Typically, I believe the Deathwalker build is Death's Toll into Boots, into Mark of the Vanguard, into Mystical Mail, and then finally into Nemean Lionhide, so you can box against your other solo laner and just tank against the Hunters and just reflect back some of their basic damage.
The Deathwalker start is also I'm a pretty big fan of, where you buy the Death Toll and you wait in the well until you have the gold for Mark of the Vanguard. You grab Mark of the Vanguard and then teleport to lane. That way you have the damage reduction and the health from Mark of the Vanguard, as well as the health and the power as well, and the sustain from Death Toll. It's a good combination. You could be in lane for a pretty long time at that point.
You gotta be careful about who you're soloing against when you do this build.
Over in the solo lane, Beast going to use the ult onto Akasteve. Akasteve in a bit of trouble here. If they can get another stun out, I'm thinking he's going to go down, but looking like Beast himself is going to get caught out. 2 players of Romanian Pride on him right now. The Thor ult did not hit, but Robert there with the secure for the kill. Unfortunately, getting caught out there is Beast.
It was a 3v5 there from the looks of it, and Take Notes is having problems grouping up there. Susano, where is Susano?
Susano over in the jungle. I don't think he's planning on rotating over right now. A bad decision by him. Another member of their team right now would make Take Notes a little more formidable in defending that lane. Unfortunately for them, Tier 1 tower going to go down. A 4 versus 2 right now. Gabriel the God and OG Frost getting a ton of poke out right now, using the ult to break himself from the CC and knock the characters up behind him. Still alive for now and temporarily, but if Susano doesn't rotate over, even though he is going for that Tier 2, I'm sure they'll spot it out and try and go stop it.
They're definitely there. Ra's leading the charge there as he comes down. Just very fast with his passive.
I'm not sure. He will definitely get there in time, but a good amount of damage going to be done to that tower before Susano has the opportunity to get it. Not worth it right there. Had he been with his team, I don't think they would have lost a tower.
I feel like that team fight could have gone a lot differently.
I don't take notes. Just were a little inefficient there with what they were grouping up. I think they told them that it was safe to push the tier 2 even though they were losing, and it's all right to swallow your pride and say, hey, I need the help over in this lane. Get over here. We're gonna lose something.
I mean, it wasn't the greatest call, but I can see why they did it. A lot of teams like to split push. I think they can win the team fight, especially with Chalk there. With the sustain, you know, you think I have Fafnir and Chalk. I definitely can sustain a 4v5, but that's not always the case.
I can see why they called for a split push and saw the opportunity to try and push down mid lane and force them out of the left lane, but I don't think Sasano, unknown player on him, was the correct call there. I would have rather like to see him in a team fight with maybe Frez pushing down the mid lane, or maybe OG Frost, him being tanky. If they were to rotate on him, he has a better chance of getting out than Sasano did, even with him successfully getting out.
Looking at the level difference between Ra and Poseidon, just looks like Ra having the better clear here, just being more involved in the fight and getting a lot more kills than Poseidon has. A lot of the kills that Poseidon has been involved in have been secured by Sasano.
Yes, him and Unknown Player and Beast with a unit that were traveling around early in the game. All of his assists, I think, coming from the 5 kills that Unknown Player has. Not getting the solo kills himself to stay ahead, and also that DC didn't help. Grouping up here with both teams, a big team fight breaking out. OG Frost using his ultimate as well as Gabriel the God going all in right now. Players better die or it's not going to be worth it. OG Frost and Gabriel getting poked out. Scotty doing good damage. However, Romania Power able to land the ult onto 2. Frez in trouble here. Robert on the killing spree so far. A 2-0 slip so far on the side of Take Notes. A third player going down. 5 players still standing on the side of Romanian Pride. Team fight's just falling apart for Take Notes, who looked so strong earlier in the game.
Do you feel like that Poseidon being on the level has a little bit to do with it?
I don't even think it's a Poseidon level. They're just doing a good job of making sure that the effectiveness between Unknown Player and Beast is kept to a minimum, and they're able to group up and have the better fights and make them miss a little bit more. Also, Mamai Ras doing a great job on this Raw right now. The biggest factor right now is him hitting those snipes.
So do you feel like now that you've seen it, do you think this Raw was worth the first pick?
I don't know if it was worth the first pick, but he's definitely showing why it needs to be considered a ban, possibly out of teams playing against Romanian Pride. If this is their staple, if this is what they build around, you do have to understand that if a team is pretty good at it, you have to take into account, regardless of what the meta is at the time.
Raw and Terra just providing that big sustain in team fights, definitely changing it in their favor whenever Take Notes wants to engage. And the fact that Romanian Pride is now ahead in gold.
Romanian Pride has been ahead in gold ever since the disconnect, and they're able to sneak a Gold Fury on only a 5,000 gold lead here. But the bigger that grows, the bigger, the more Take Notes has to worry about how they're going to play in the end game and see if they can't get it back to their hands. They also don't have one item for anti-heal right now. Ra and Terra both healing to their full potential. They need to be able to. I want to see at least a divine. Oh, what's it called? Pestilence. I want to see a Pestilence on Chalk here as his next item to try and nullify that healing a little bit.
And Poseidon getting away, using his ult. Wait,
Beast
no,
using the ultimate to try and peel for himself the ricochet from Hou-Yi, or the ricochet from Frez was off the mark, but Mama, good job with the searing pain, getting able to, or searing, is it searing pain or searing flush? Searing something, able to get that kill there.
And once
Romania
again,
Power 26 having good damage, but unable to get the kill. Like a case, however, able to get that kill onto Unknown Player, taking him out. The Sasano, a big prominent team fighter. Another team fight falling apart for Take Notes, just grouping up better and more prominently is Romanian Pride. Robert Akesa as well as Romania all getting kills in that fight.
That Thor landing his ult has made the difference in this game.
Absolutely. Had he been missing those ults, I think Take Notes would have had more of an opportunity to come back in these fights. But 17-9 now is Romanian Pride. Good job by them by playing reserved now and realizing what they do have under their belt coming into these fights after starting down. A Phoenix going to be in their sights right now, defended by a Dan Frez on Hou-Yi and Poseidon. I'm not thinking it's going to be enough, especially with the ultimate going on to Frez. He's forced to back out. No reason to stay there and die when you know that Phoenix is going down. The first Phoenix of the game going the way of Romanian Pride. The lead almost 10,000 here, and with the Gold Fury up, looking like it's going to be more.
What do you think that Take Notes can do to get back in this fight here?
I don't think at this point there's much they can do. It's slipping out of their hands. You have a Phoenix down. If anything, just stay grouped up and see if you can't get one team fight to go your way and go and grab a tower. And you have to, it's going to be a slow process right now. You're down by so much. Not one fight is going to turn it your way. You have to realize that the enemy team is so far ahead of you. One fight isn't going to level you or give you the gold to keep up. Try and stop the bleeding. Try and see if you can't get that Phoenix up without losing any more objectives. Put a ward on Fire Giant. See if you can't steal something like that. You're going to have to slip your way in and hopefully get lucky on a couple of fights.
I think there's some miscommunication between support and solo lane about who's building Pestilence.
You better back down.
I don't think they are thinking about healing at all. I know they have to know that they're healing, but I think they're probably playing thinking that their burst is enough right now to nullify any healing, but being behind as they are, even a Kraken from Beast isn't going to be hitting as hard as he'd like it to, as the Lotus Crown from Terra is going to keep her team pretty tanky, as well as the Gauntlet of Thieves and the Sovereignty. Not looking good right now on the side of Take Notes. Glad it went to 1-1, but Romanian Pride, clearly the team that has a little bit more experience in coming into games where you know it's going to be close and you're learning a little bit about what the enemy team is capable of. They're taking advantage of Beast and Unknown Player, both of them on good gods, but catching them out and making them feel squishy, especially Beast, only 1-3 on the prominent beside.
Early game, Take Notes definitely winning the early game, but just the late game coming in and changing everything.
The ult coming out of Romania Power, not hitting it, but getting a stun onto Unknown Player. The beats used out of him to nullify the stun from his wall. Using his ult defensively here, able to get the knock up onto 3. Coming in now is Mama. If he can get the slow onto Gabriel the God, I think that's going to be a kill for them. Gabriel the God using the ultimate to nullify the damage. Hopefully going to be able to leap out here. Yeah, sleeping into the blue buff layer and safe.
Good job by him to get out there with his ult.
Good job by him to expend a few abilities and stay alive. It's still 5 versus 5, but you're at a disadvantage now. You're tier 2 being taken. I don't know if you want to go against them right now. I think fighting under the Phoenix is a much better bet. OG Frost going in to try and have a little bit of an impact, but a good call by them to just back out and not go kill themselves at the tier 2 and lose their Phoenix and lose the game. Got to play the game reserved right now. Getting a stun on the 2 is Romania, not following up with it immediately. Just a little bit late with that snipe. But a 4-man knockup by OG Frost could turn a fight towards Take Notes. Like I said, it only takes one. Low on health right now. It's looking like Romanian Pride are on their heels right now. A good overall fight by Take Notes. Going back in, a meditation going to come online, giving them a second win. Gabriel the God starting to get poked out.
Just the amount of taking
Mama able to get the first blood of this team fight. Good job. And Romanian Pride having the ultimate online already. Able to get a stun onto 2, a kill onto Prez. Robert able to clean up Beast over into the Titan's lair.
And that second Phoenix,
not
folks.
quite able to get a triple kill on the OG Frost, but a 3-0 slip on the side of Take Notes. Still you have 2 alive and you have people defending the Titan, but it's looking pretty grim right here for them.
Definitely Terra, a huge prominent factor in that team fight with her dash through and her
I think anti-heal would have been able to do so much. OG Frost able to get a burst heal up. The snipe coming through from Mama, hitting OG Frost, followed up with Robert with the scythe, or with the sickle strike, able to get that kill. Titan turning out of him as I don't think Mamai Rasp was aiming for the enemy god, but game 3 going the way of Romanian Pride, a tune of 21-9. An early game win by Take Notes, going through the mid game, but mid game through late. Romanian Pride getting that first Gold Fury, which put them at a prominent lead, taking it, going all across the map on a bloody rampage, able to get the win in the end.
Well, what do you think Take Notes can do to improve this that late game for them?
I think you take the early game and realize that even when you're ahead, you don't have to play cocky and you need to stay grouped up and try and get wins. Little wins add up, and no matter how far ahead you are, getting that extra camp, getting that extra Gold Fury, getting everything you can to keep yourself in the lead is going to be what is the true difference. I don't think there was one item of anti-heal on the side of TNZ. Or actually, Fafnir picked up the Pestilence. I'm glad that he did, but it should have came online earlier as the healing from Ra was pretty prominent in keeping his team alive. Player of the game, I'm going to give that to Ra. That was a beautifully played game by him. Early game, struggling a little bit to hit the snipes, and player damage at 34,000. Good job.
I can totally agree with that. He changed the fights early game. He changed it in their favor, hitting those snipes, coming back, trading kill for kill here. making it that first fight that put them on the board too. All done by Ra. One with his heal, one with his snipe. Definitely probably calming his team down a little bit because they weren't 0-5 anymore. They were 2-5. They could kill the enemy and they could even kill the Susanoo even with the Ra snipe, which is fantastic.
A few things I'm going to point out here. Akka Steve going Deathbringer on Scotty as well as some attack speed. When you're on that Scotty Deathbringer, that crit doesn't work on Calder. Like I've said, 20% crit chance also isn't that much. Yes, your crits are hitting pretty hard, but they're not happening often enough to warrant it. If I were Akka Steve, I would have hit a Rage. If you're going to go crit, Rage is usually the first item as you want to get those stacks online. Then something like a Deathbringer, so you sit at 55% crit chance, 55% crit chance, and that's when you're hitting hard. But the build isn't bad. I just think more penetration would have been fine. However, a good game by both teams. I think in the beginning, Unknown Player and Beast dominantly held the entire map, rotating around like a unit, and it was perfect. However, I don't think they went in the mid game they went to the mid game, I think, a little bit too confident, started spreading out, and started losing their team fights by being a little bit sloppy. But I can't fault Romanian Pride saying it's Take Note's fault. They started cleaning up their fights. Romania Power started hitting the ults, as well as Mamai Rast hitting his ults as well. Great team fights coming out of the game.
Thor definitely a huge player in that game. Once he started landing those ults, coming into the team fights last second, hitting the ult, hitting the stun, hitting his was it Berserker's Rage is what you want to call it now?
Berserker's Barrage.
Berserker's Barrage, and then his team just following him up. That was the important part there. You can have a Thor ult and just set up the opportunity, but your team has to be ready to jump on that opportunity.
Also, when it comes to team fights, I think a factor was definitely 12 wards placed by their Terra and 12 wards placed by Romania Power 26. Kenshin and Romania Power 26 keeping the vision on the map constantly, as opposed to the 8 wards by Frez and the 5 wards by Gabriel. Not elite warding by them. I think had there been 10 or 15 more wards in that game, the team fights would have been a little bit cleaner. They would have been a little bit more aware of the positioning Romanian Pride had.
I'm not liking that 0 wards placed on that Ra, but he hit the snipes.
I don't mind it simply because it was made up for by the jungler, which was all around the map, as well as the support, which is all around the map. If he doesn't need to, he doesn't have to, but it always helps.
Definitely. All right, so that's been this broadcast here. Game 3 of Take Notes versus Romanian Pride. We'll come back to you shortly with an overview of the patch notes for us, and we'll have a quick discussion between me and Tyner here, and we'll have 2 guests come on and talk a little bit about what they think of the new patch and so on and so forth. All right,
that might take a little bit, but we'll see if we can't put them together and get the community to talk about a few things. We'll be back hopefully pretty soon.